What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. A lot of you guys are asking me my opinion on this, so I figured I'd make a video, address everything, and I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys, let you know my honest thoughts. So, you got an interesting triangle going on in boxing right now, and that's for a variety of reasons. Gennady Golovkin, Miguel Cotto, and Canelo Alvarez. And the reason I call them a triangle is because you can mix and match those different matches multiple ways, and no matter any way you match them, they're still interesting, entertaining fights, or at least I feel they would be. So people are asking what's next for Cotto, what's next for Triple G, what's next for Canelo. I 100% am on board with any of those matches. Like if you were to have Triple G versus Chavez Jr., I think there's elements of interest. I think Triple G is more technically sound than Chavez Jr. However, Chavez Jr. is big as fuck, and he's a dedicated body puncher. He has a good punch in general, and there's going to be a size differential. So that's an intriguing fight for me. You have Canelo versus Chavez Jr., another good fight. It would do huge numbers. Two Mexican stars, one coming from the famous name Chavez Jr., Canelo. We already know what his fan base entails. Then you have a fight with Miguel Cotto and Canelo, another big fight. Mexico, Puerto Rico has given us some classic, absolute classic matches from De La Hoya and Trinidad all the way to Cotto Margarito. It's given us tons of great fights. So that is an epic fight in itself. Could do record-shattering numbers. Then you look at Canelo Triple G. They've sparred before. Canelo has some trouble making weight, and it looks like a likely move for him would be to move up to 160 to really test himself. So I want to kind of break down some of these matches. I'm going to try to not keep it too long, but I think from a monetary lucrative point of view, Canelo Cotto makes the most sense because you have two superstars, like two guys, two rock stars in the sport of boxing that will do great numbers. In my opinion, Triple G, there's a lot of guys he could fight. He wants to stay at middleweight. He's made that clear. I think Miguel Cotto should honestly stay away from Triple G. I think he already set history with the Sergio Martinez fight. I'm a huge Cotto fan. I'm just being real in this video. He set history in the Martinez fight, but I don't think he really belongs up there. I don't think his true calling is at middleweight. And it's a far cry from Sergio Martinez to fight Triple G, because Sergio Martinez we knew as a gamble. It was a wild card. We thought, oh, even if he's 70-80%, he'll be cool. But he turned out to be less than that. His injury wasn't properly healed. Miguel Cotto, all the credit in the world to him, because it still takes a talented fighter to do what he did, and he shut Sergio Martinez out. So that didn't have to be the case. So you have to give credit to Miguel Cotto, despite what shape Sergio Martinez showed up to fight in, because it takes the right fighter to make a talented fighter like Sergio look that shitty. And Cotto did exactly what he needed to do. He started the onslaught early. Sergio Martinez was never able to recover. And that's what you do. Someone who took a long layoff, somebody who is coming off of an injury, you do just what Cotto did. You rush them. You don't give them any space. You're younger than them. You just, you know what I mean? You just swarm them and then put it on thick early, just like Canelo did with Angulo. And the rest is history. Angulo also coming off of an injury from the Edeslandi Lara fight. And I think he had a long layoff too, like dealing with that injury. So Canelo, being the younger fighter, being strong, he put it on him early. And that's exactly what Cotto did in the Sergio Martinez fight. But for Cotto, doing that to an aging / not fully healthy Sergio Martinez, and I'm not trying to take away credit. These are facts. Sergio didn't look like, we've never seen Sergio look that horrible. So again, props to Sergio for taking the fight, but he wasn't equipped to fight. He wasn't in the condition he should have been in. But that either way you slice it, Triple G is an active fighter. He's fighting 2 to 4 times a year. He did deal with the bereavement and had a little bit of a layoff dealing with that. But other than that, he's been very active, and he's younger than Sergio Martinez, and he's a brutal, brutal puncher. So I honestly, I love Cotto to death. I think if Cotto were to fight Triple G, that will be the best name, the best, highest ranking, highest caliber opponent that Triple G has faced as a pro. And I would respect Cotto, win or lose, for taking the fight, because that's a tall order and a very dangerous fight. So that would be back-to-back dangerous fights for Cotto. I just don't see him beating Triple G because mainly the size differential. If Miguel Cotto was a bit bigger and carried everything that he does well, like boxing, it'd be a different fight. I just think the size advantage is going to be huge, and Triple G has that monstrous power. And like the old saying goes, a good big man will beat a great little man. You know what I'm saying? So size does play a part, unless you're Mayweather and you just do everything right and stay out of danger when your opponents are outweighing you 15 pounds. And that's not really Cotto's style. Cotto is a banger. He's a good boxer, but he's more in pocket than Mayweather. You know what I mean? Mayweather, what makes him challenging is he'll give you several different looks. And Cotto can do that. He can throw punches from different angles. He's a southpaw that fights orthodox. So he has a lot of variety to his fight game. But I just see him being just kind of bludgeoned, to be honest, if I don't really beat around the bush. I think Triple G is just too big, too strong, and he's an accurate puncher. He's a body puncher. I see Triple G stopping Cotto. I think he's too small, and he doesn't truly belong at middleweight. Honestly, to be honest, I think at middleweight, there's a lot of guys that can bother him just with the size differential. Like even a Marco Antonio Rubio, I think could give Cotto problems, but definitely Triple G. And if you look at the Antonio Margarito rematch with Miguel Cotto, he looked very sharp, but he exerted a lot of energy keeping Margarito at bay and staying away, staying out of the danger zone, if you will, against Margarito. So if you look at the second half of that fight, it looked like Margarito was starting to come on, and everything that Cotto had worked for was not enough to discourage Margarito, and it looked like Margarito was getting his second win. Fortunately for Cotto, Pacquiao fucked up Margarito's eye so bad the fight was stopped. But who knows how those championship rounds would have truly looked had the fight not been stopped, had Pacquiao not fucked Margarito's eye up to the point where Cotto just had to really finish his eye off. But if he exerted that much energy to keep Margarito off, imagine a guy who's more calculated, who has an equal or longer reach and hits harder, you know what I'm saying? And is more of a precision guy. Antonio Margarito is like the stalker type, but I don't see him placing his shots as well as a Triple G. So I think that's a bad fight for Cotto, to be honest. And I think the more lucrative fight would be a fight with Canelo, obviously, because that's someone closer to his size, even though Canelo's big too. But Cotto, it's like Cotto has advantages in that fight still, where Canelo, he might give up a little bit size. Canelo has showed fatigue. He didn't really show in the lower fight as much. He showed that he fatigues. We know Canelo, in terms of pro experience, he doesn't have anywhere near the caliber or type of experience that Cotto has a pro. Cotto has been in there with Mayweather, Pacquiao, Shane Mosley, Margarito twice. He's been in there with great names, the Paulie Malignaggi's, the Randall Baileys, when Randall Bailey was, you know what I mean, more of a feared puncher and stuff. So Cotto has a deep resume. He's been in there with the Zab Judas and different things like that. So he brings experience in that. And it'd be interesting. That to me, that's a very interesting fight. Like I said, you can mix and match any of these matches, and they still spell excitement. They still spell good sales. I don't think Triple G is a standalone type of name that's going to do pay-per-view. But if you put him on there with somebody who can, you know what I mean, carry the blunt like a Canelo, or you put him in there with the Cotto, it's going to do great numbers. I don't know if Triple G, you know what I mean, Triple G just can't sell, to me, like 1.4 by himself without a big name. You know what I mean? He has a more of a cult following as opposed to a built-in fan base like a Canelo, Cotto, Pacquiao, Mayweather, that kind of stuff. Triple G versus Chavez Jr. is a good fight. They talked about making that fight. I think a better fight for Cotto is Canelo or Chavez Jr. to be perfectly honest, because Chavez Jr. also has a size advantage over Cotto, but I think Cotto is a better boxer than Chavez Jr. in terms of technique, finesse. Chavez Jr. The reason that's interesting is because he's a fucking Goliath compared to Cotto. He's very big and he has his pop's chin. He has a granite chin and he can take a shot. So it could be interesting. Will it be, like I said, kind of like a Margarito too? But to me, that's more of a winnable fight than Triple G. I think Triple G is just too good, too big, too strong. Chavez Jr., the jury's still out. Chavez Jr. could put it on him based on that size differential because, I mean, Cotto's going to give up a lot. He's going to give up a lot. And Chavez Jr. could take a shot. So it's still not the easiest fight for him because Chavez, like I said, Chavez is fucking big in that chin. I mean, and Cotto doesn't move around as much as Sergio Martinez. We've seen Chavez Jr. look bewildered against Sergio Martinez, but that's a southpaw. And that's also a guy who's very slippery and elusive and just kind of dancing around you and then picking you off and stuff like that. It's not typically Cotto's style. And I think Cotto is going to have problems if he tries to go heads up with these bigger dudes that could crack and take a punch because it looks like Chavez Jr. could take a punch and it looks like Triple G could take a punch. So either way, I'm all for any of these matches. I just want to kind of clear the air, let you know what I want to see. So Canelo versus Cotto makes the most business sense because it'll be record breaking. I think Cotto versus Chavez Jr. is more winnable than Triple G and Cotto. I think we'd be asking too much out of Miguel Cotto to expect him to, as lineal champion at middleweight, to beat Triple G. That's my honest opinion. Triple G versus Canelo, I like that. Like I said, Canelo's big. Triple G is, he's pretty big, but he's not huge for 160. You know what I mean? So that's a good fight. They've sparred before. And I like Canelo's mean streak. Canelo has that mean streak, that competitive streak. He complained about running in the Laura fight. And you got Triple G, who's a head-on kind of guy, cuts off the ring beautifully. So you don't have to worry about running if that's your issue. Because Triple G, we haven't really seen many people back him up. Curtis Stevens did it in spots. We've seen some guys in spots back him up. But what was the end result? Did they beat Triple G? Did they continue to back him up? Those are the things that are going to remain to be seen. So I wanted to talk about this triangle of different fighters. Let me know what matches you want to see, what makes the most sense, who wins what matches that we discussed. And make sure you like the video as always. Hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.